All right, so let's see how, historically speaking, in JavaScript, we've been dealing with asynchronous code. What asynchronous code means. So far, whenever you call a function, it resolves the problem immediately, and you take the control back, and you do the next action, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, many JavaScript operations take a while to complete. Yeah? A classic example is, some of you started to work on the backend journey. So when you call a backend endpoint, if you are going to the tube, it may take a few seconds. Yeah? When you are accessing Google or any website, it takes a few seconds to load. This is asynchronous. So there is a task you trigger, but it's not resolved immediately. Let me present you a problem. Imagine you get a function called doStuff, and the function essentially has a set timeout. Can anyone tell me what this set timeout does? Yeah, that's right. It will delay that piece of code half a second. After half a second, it will do whatever. Yeah, that's the console log. So for instance, if I call doStuff like that, yeah. Oops, sorry. If I call doStuff and I run the snippet, nothing, boom. And after half a second, let me delay that a bit more, 1.5 seconds. Look at the bottom. Nothing. Hello. Yeah, after 1.5 seconds, it runs an action. But imagine that I got toStuff1, and then I got toStuff2. Yeah, two functions doing something very similar. The main difference is the first one, hello, doStuff1, and the other one, hello, doStuff2. So if I run them one after the other, doStuff1 and then doStuff2, so what's the execution order? Which message should be displayed first? doStuff1 or doStuff2? Two, that's right, because even though we triggered doStuff1 first, in reality, that function took 1.5 seconds to complete. However, this function took just half a second. So if you pay attention, you will see in a second here, doStuff2 and then doStuff1. 2 and then 1. Okay? And that may be okay. Maybe these functions are independent. But what if we really want to run 2 only after 1 is completed? They could be dependent. Yeah? So for instance, on the Codiri platform, if I want to get your user details, and then I want to see your position on the rank, these are two different operations, but they are related. First of all, I want to get your details. And once you get your details, then where is your position on the rank? Yeah? So we need to run these operations sequentially. So let's learn how to run operations sequentially in JavaScript. So the very first method is using a callback. A callback means call doStuff1. Let me get rid of that. And then look at the syntax. That's a callback function or a higher order function. The most popular workshop in our history is about higher order functions. So if you search on YouTube higher order functions, you'll find a workshop that particularly triggers that bit. Also on React intermediate training, there is a very popular topic about higher order functions. A higher order function is a function that is executed at some point. Yeah? So that is an argument that is a higher order function. So the syntax is call the first function, and then once the first function is over, call the other one. Yeah? So it will run doStuff1, and only once doStuff1 is over, it will call doStuff2. So from the invoking point of view, that's pretty much the syntax. But now, from the function definition perspective, we need to do something else. Look, how many arguments doStuff1 receives? One, that's right, one argument. What type of argument is that? Is it a string? Is it an object? It's a function, that's right. That's a function. That's the argument, yeah. That's the argument. So, because that's the argument, let's think about the valid name. So you can call it function fn, or many developers like to call that callback, or callback function. That's a way to tell, hey, once you are done, please call it. Yeah? You call the function that you receive as the argument. I know that's a bit complicated if you never came across that structure, but that's the classic way you structure asynchronous code. You pass an argument that is a function. So whenever your complex stuff is done, then you just tell whoever called the function, hey, I'm done. So now you can proceed with the next steps. So if I run it again, what will be the displaying order at the bottom? Say it again, Kaini? So it will be 1 and 2, 2 and 1, 1 and 2. Let's have a look. 1 and then 2. Sorry, you cannot see anything, right? There you go. Let me try again. So 1 and then 2. Can you tell me how long this algorithm takes to complete end to end? 2 seconds. That's right. You're right, guys. Because it takes 1.5 seconds to satisfy the first function, do stuff 1, and then an additional 0.5 second to complete the second task. Yeah. So if I run it again, 1.5, and then 0.5 second later the second one. That's the way you can orchestrate your code easily. Yeah. The way you can ensure that function 2 only starts running after function 1 is over. Any questions?
So 15 and 16 is an example of a higher order function.
Yes, listen, that highlighted code, that's the higher order function. Why? Because that's a function that only runs when something else happens above. Yeah? That highlighted code will only run after 1.5 seconds here, because we call it where I am. Then we run that piece of code. That's a higher order function. We may do another workshop to talk about all the details with higher order functions, blah, blah, blah. But for now, that's the way it works. Yeah? That coding style, it sounds very legacy. I mean, to be honest, I follow a chronological order. I didn't follow a simplicity order. In other words, as you can imagine, the oldest the technique is, the trickier it is as well. Yeah? So that's the classic way of coding. You will see the following techniques tend to simplify that. Yeah? But essentially, that's the old way of handling asynchronous code. There's one more thing here. What if I want to change some messages? For instance, whatever the output of do stuff 1 is, will become the input of do stuff 2. You know, if you are BMW and you're building a car, there are different steps, right? The output of one step is the input of the next step. So, look, let's get rid of that console.log. So, in reality, can I pass a message here? Yeah, you see, whenever I return the control back, I can say, this is a message from function do stuff 1. Yeah? So now, here, when I call that function, I can receive the message here on the argument. Yep. So that function will trigger this function. So that's my message. And basically, now I can send it to do stuff 2. Yeah, give me a second, Anita. Sorry, let me complete that. So now I can just say, hey, hello from do stuff 2, comma, this is the message from, or the received message, for instance. So now we can display it. So can anybody tell me what will this console log display? That's right. So that message comes from here. Let's see if that's right. It will wait 2 long seconds, and actually Florian is right. Look, hello do stuff 2, this is the received message, colon, maybe, that will help, right? You see, we are definitely passing the message from here. Let's recap why. When do stuff 1 is over, we call the higher order function, passing a message. Hey, this is my message. So then here, we said, all right, do stuff 1 has returned the message. So now I can send it, if I want, to do stuff 2, and I can do whatever I want with it. Anita?
So the first, in the first place, we are defining the functions,
Yep.
do stuff 1 and do stuff 2.
That's right.
And the last place, we are calling.
We're calling, correct? Yeah,
So
yeah.
usually when we call, we pass the message directly.
Yep.
But here we pass it as an argument and not the value, so it's quite confusing what's actually happening here.
Yep, that's a callback function. Once again, that function, the highlighted code, will be executed because of that line. Without that line, what will my screen display now? Interesting. So Florian says yes, it will display this message and then undefined.
No.
It won't work. Alex and Anita believe that won't work. Why not?
Because the do stuff 2 message, the second function is not called in the first function.
That's correct. That's correct. Because the first function is never returning the control back, that piece of code will never ever run. So if you run this code, you can wait decades. That will never show any message because we commented that line. Yeah? So it's very important when you deal with asynchronous code to return the control back in that particular way. So now the control is here.
So what is message here?
What is message? I don't know. What is message here, Anita?
Oh, message. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the message.
Oh, no.
Let me add some breakpoints, guys. Actually, I had an idea because I can see your faces. I'm not going to do promises today. I'll move that to tomorrow. So let's focus on that particular problem. Cool. So look at my breakpoints. It's going to be a bit hard, right? Can you still see the screen? I hope you can still see the screen. Cool. So who wants to try first? 2 points on the board challenge. All right, so Fish, you go first. Who else?
I think it's going to be, this is a message from,
No, I just want numbers. I don't understand anything else. Numbers. So Florian says 14, 15, and that's it. Okay?
14.
Fish, 14, 14, 15. And that's it. So you agree with Florian? Okay. Wait a minute, Anita. Rochelle goes first. So Rochelle. Yep. 14, 15, 10. and that's it. Okay? And Kaini?
14, 10, 4. I don't know. 10.
10 again?
Never mind.
10 times 10? Who else?
Well,
Alex?
really?
14.
And you just
This is 15 throwing me off, but let's go 14, 15, 3, 4, which in main case called 9, 10.
Anybody else? Instead of 2 points, now you got 3 points.
Just repeat
Now it's going backwards. All right, guys, no one got the job once again, right? All right, you were massively, 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 massively wrong. I mean, no one was not even close. Horrible. That's absolutely. No, sorry, Octavian. Octavian. No, sorry, you're out of time. I'm so sorry. Look, I don't want you to tell. I want you to understand how it works. Eh? Not just you, everybody. So the majority of you did a fundamental mistake here. You all assume, apart from Kaini, that after 14 it will run 15. That's completely pointless. You are breaking the entire principles of asynchronous JavaScript. We are saying, starting from the first second of this presentation, that we won't run do stuff 2 until do stuff 1 is over. In other words, okay, the only thing I'm happy about is at least you identify the first one, 14. Fair enough. No one said the first line is 10, for instance. So that's good. So the first one is 14. That's 100%. But then it won't run 15 until do stuff 1 is over. In other words, it will go to line number 3. It will wait for how long? 1.5 seconds. That's correct. Then it will go to line number 4. And because on line number 4 we are resolving the function, pop, we will jump here. And that means it will now stop on line number 15. And now we will eventually execute line number 15. So then we go here. Yeah? So sequentially, we will go to line number 9. And then after, how long? After half a second, that's right, we will run line number 10.
Oh, so the callback, I mean the argument which is in do stuff 1,
Yep.
that's the message. The call is from the function to here. From here to here, that's what I was confused.
Look at the screen. That's correct. Yeah, that's the message we receive here, and then we pass here to display whatever. Yeah? I mean, let's see if I'm right or not. 14. It won't stop here. If it stops here, I will switch off the cable and I'll be back to Spain to have some holidays. Right? There you go. Still here. Number 3. Now it will wait for 1.5 seconds. Look, 1.5. Yeah? And then, because we are returning the control, because of the callback function, we will stop on line number 15. That's it. So now, you know, easy. Look, if I hover message, yes, Anita, because that's the message that the first function is passing. So now we're passing the message here. Yeah. So if I play again, we'll stop on line number 9. And after half a second, we will half a second. That's a very long half a second, right? What is that was a very long half a second, guys. I mean, that's completely stupid. Chrome didn't work because where is my message, right? It's not even displayed. Let me try again. So 4 in, 3. It stopped working, right? Yeah. So now, you know, Chrome is completely broken. Yeah. It was just a matter of time that was going to happen. I mean, let me try again without the breakpoints. It stopped working completely. You see how bullshit this is, right? Yes. Say it again? Updating itself what? Chrome. 4 times a day? I don't think so. No. This is just bullshit. I mean, let me try to create a new snippet to see if it works. Just, just dead. It doesn't want to run anymore. You see? I'm pressing the button and nothing happens. So let me close it, open it again, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes killing Chrome helps as well. But, and unfortunately, I don't think there is any equivalent alternative using Safari. That's a big problem here, right? Because you can just trust me. I cannot show you my point just using breakpoints. Now it works again, but anyway, it may stop working after a few attempts, right? So I'm not going to play very hard with the breakpoints because it looks like breakpoints easily crash the browser. Anyway, yeah, so the important thing is to understand the flow, yeah? Go to do stuff 1, then we go here, after 1.5 seconds, we return the control back, and then we do stuff 2, passing the message. So then after half a second, we display something.
So within a higher order functions, it bounces back and forth into what? Because I guess what confused me was the argument that you're putting inside of the first function you're invoking. It doesn't read the whole argument. It just reads the fact that you're invoking it and then invokes it.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So here, once again, that's a higher order functions. So callback function is just a reference. It's not invoking the function yet. It's just a reference to its function. So then once function 1 is over, it calls, you see, because of line number 4, that code is actually executed. That's why we pass the control to do stuff 2. So let me present you a more difficult example. I don't want this function to display in a console.log. I don't want that. I want, function 1 returns the control back to here, right? So I want to do the same thing here. Look. Not sure if you get my point. Once function 2 is over, you see, I'm doing the same thing. So now function 2 doesn't care about what function 1 is passing. You see, actually, the code is just a copy-paste. It's the same code. The only difference is hello Anita from function 1, and now here you got hello Octavian from function 2. Yeah, but the code is the same. Timing is different, message is different, but the structure is equivalent. It takes a while and then it resolves. So can anybody tell me what do I have to put here inside of the parentheses? Can you call it message 1 and message 2? And then what? What? I want to display both messages, this message and that message, here somehow, somewhere.
So I'm going to scroll up.
Yep.
So should it be callback function?
Callback function, what callback function means? That?
So instead of message 1 and message 2,
Yeah?
if you put callback function, so we put another message, what would it be wrong?
No, she's asking to replace this word, I think, with callback function.
So you want me to type here callback function?
Yeah. Why would that be wrong?
No, that doesn't make sense. Because callback function, what is that? I mean, here, when you call a function, you need to pass an argument, right? It could be a string, could be a number, could be whatever you want, an object if you want, or in this particular case, we are passing a function. the declaration of a function. So do stuff 1, do stuff 2, so Florin set message, and then what else? I mean, the functions are identical, yeah? So you know how we resolve the function 1. So how can we resolve the function 2? Identically. So how do we do that? This is a callback function. So I can pass another callback function here. And that's it. So now, you see? It's the same structure. Maybe it becomes a bit more easy to learn when we repeat the same example again. Do stuff 1, and then, once it's over, do stuff 2, and then, once that function is over, display a message. So let's see if that works. How long do you think that console log will take to display? I give you 5 options. Immediately, half a second, 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, or never, or infinite loop. 2 seconds, I agree with you. That function will need 1.5 seconds to stop here. And that function will need an additional half a second to complete, in other words, to be here. So 1.5 plus half a second, and then we'll get these console logs. Let's see if that works or not. 1, 2, yeah, more or less 2 seconds, yeah? But you get the point, look, all good. You see the first message, yes, Anita from function 1, that's what, message 1 or message 2? It's message 1, correct. So that's the first message that was captured after 1.5 seconds. And then likewise, after an additional extra half a second, then we are capturing the message returned by do stuff 2. Yeah? That's why we can display them together. What if I have another function, do stuff 3, yes, Rochelle, from function 3. You get my point, right? And that will take 7/10 of a second to complete. So can anybody tell me what else do I have to do here? I don't want to display the messages now. I want to call function 3, and once it's over, display them all. Do stuff 3. You see, it's the same thing again, and again, right? Does it make sense? Let's see if it works.
So this is a synchronous or async?
It works. How long this algorithm takes to complete? 2.7 seconds, that's right. Anita?
No, I was wondering, you were talking about synchronous and asynchronous.
Yep.
So this is synchronous function or asynchronous?
Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. Last question. You know it's never the last question, but anyway. So, whoa. There will be 6 points for the person to give me a good answer. Who else? Actually, breakpoints may not work, right? I mean, I'll try. If they don't work, you will just trust me. That's fine. Sounds a bit random, right? But You may get a question like that in a job interview. Let me get rid of that one just for visibility, yeah, to keep everything available more or less. Yeah. More or less. All right. So 6 points on the board challenge.
I got this.
Alex?
20. You haven't got one in the first one, have you? No. 21. 22. 9. 23. 24. 16. 25. Make sure I get this right. 27, 21.
Okay, that's Alex's attempt to get some points. Yeah, of course, Yun.
Oh, wait a minute.
Too late, Alex? 20? Yes. 22? Yes. 23? 23 and, sorry, 23 and 9? 24? 25? 16? So 27 and 29. Okay, Anita wanted to participate as well.
20. Go on.
There is nothing about.
Just want to say the time.
There is nothing. No breakpoints.
Maybe 29. 29.
Don't say, guys, don't say maybe 29,
I said
right?
29.
If you said maybe 29, the message you're sending is you have no idea what you are talking about. You should be bold with your statements, right? 20, 29, and then what?
21.
Yeah?
22. No, sorry.
All right, time out. Sorry, Anita. Sorry. Now, everyone else, you have the opportunity, but you will have. All right, let's change the. I mean, you are wrong. You are wrong. But first of all, that was a more complex exercise, and you were not that radically wrong. So, you know, I can see some sort of improvement. So now let's do an exercise. You can start again. If you give me the right number, you can give me the next number. If you fail, we pass the control to the next person. Yeah? And the person with more correct numbers will get some points, because I'm assuming no one is going to give me a good answer end to end. So, Octavian, do you want to start?
Yeah, 20.
20, wait a minute. Is 20 right?
Yeah.
Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you. 20 is the first one, so you can continue. Then what?
21.
21, is 21 right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And 22.
Then 22, oh, sorry.
9.
22, oh, wait a minute, 22. All right, so we call do stuff. I mean, so far, I agree with you, Octavian, yeah? We go here, line number 20, fantastic. There are no breakpoints on the first function, so we can ignore that. Cool. So then once do stuff 1 is over, after 1.5 seconds, we display Jeremy, yeah, which is line number 21. Fantastic. And then we will actually, wait a minute, sorry, guys. I cannot see the whole screen, and that's a problem. So let's recap. 20, that's right. But then Octavian said 21. I disagree on that already. The second one is not 21. So, Andrea? Pass. All right, so what do you think? So the second one is not 21. What's the second one?
31.
Ah, that's right, guys. You failed here. Why, after running 20, the first course on the log will be Barak and not Jeremy? Why is that? Because, look, all this weird code runs asynchronously. JavaScript is not going to wait 2 seconds. It will, move on straight away. So it will display Barak. Yeah? That was the main issue. So Alex, what's next after 31?
Then 21.
Then 21, do you agree on that? So then we wait 1.5 seconds, we run this console.log, and then what?
Then will it invoke 22 but then run 29?
So it will go to 22, and then it will run do stuff 2. In other words, pop, it will stop here, yeah? So that means the next one will be number 9, and after 1/2 second, do stuff 2 will finish.
You've already got 29.
But exactly, that's right. Yeah, you got the same problem. So do stuff 2 may take few seconds to complete. JavaScript is not going to wait. In other words, it will go to line number 9 because that happens in this line, but it's not going to wait until the function is called. In other words, after line number 9, it will jump to line number 29, which is here. And after line number 29, not 29, sorry, it was 20, yeah, sorry, it's a bit hard to control. Number 20, yeah, it was 29, right? So then after 1/2 second, pop, it will stop here. So the next line will be 23, yeah, console.log. And then it will stop on 24. So it will try to call do stuff free. But then look at where the callback is. That's the tricky part. So the callback, the breakpoint is here. So once again, JavaScript is not going to wait until this function completes. So it will move from here to there, yeah, to 27. And after 7/10 of a second, it will call the callback, which is 16. And eventually, finally, it will do 25. Is that easy to learn? No. Are you expected to get a similar question? Yes. It's okay. I mean, I'll tell you something. I may have done something wrong. It's okay if you do something wrong. But the important thing to note is that you understand the flow, the sequence. Is that you understand that that console.log will run before that console log. This type of things. That at least you have some understanding about the flow. Yeah. Let's see if we did it right or not. Then number 20, that was easy. That was an easy guess. Then 31, that's fine. Then we'll go to 21. After 1.5 seconds, that's correct. Then to 22, that's correct. Then because the breakpoint on do stuff 2 is here, we will stop on the set timeout. But now we are not going to wait here. So JavaScript will essentially move on to line number 20. Where are you? 29. You are right. Fine. 29. So now it should stop on 29. Here you go. And after 1/2 second, it will complete that function. In other words, that callback will run. So now it will stop on 23, if I'm right, after 1/2 second. Where is it?
The 1/2 second breaks it every time.
It breaks after the second one. It's too short timing. I don't know. There is something is wrong. It's not, but anyway, you can trust me. After the 1/2 second, it will complete that code. That means it will run 23, and then of course 24, but then it will call do stuff free, and because it's not going to wait for the callback, it will run the Angela callback, the Angela console log, and after 7/10 of a second, it will resolve do stuff free, and then it will run that console log. Yeah?
Can you make one of these, like an example snippet that you could send around?
I can send that. Yeah, actually, guys, do something. I'm going to send that on Slack. Feel free to copy and paste it, add breakpoints, and do the same thing. Try to predict. Yeah? You are going to get questions about that on a job interview, so you definitely need to practice this type of things. Simply, I mean, you don't have to repeat the same breakpoint. Just add some random breakpoints, and then before running the snippet, try to figure out, write it down. What's the execution order? A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Yeah? Cool. I mean, that's the old way we deal with classic function. I hope you agree with me. That's complicated. That's complicated. Tomorrow, I would like to repeat the very same example using promises in the morning, and in the afternoon, I will try to repeat once again the very same example using something super cool, super sexy called async await. Async await. Async await is the new technique in JavaScript to simplify that massively. Yeah? So when dealing with that complex hierarchy of variables, blah, 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 we used to refer to that as callback hell. Have you heard about the callback hell? So if I go to Google and I search callback hell, and go to images, that looks very weird, right? I mean, that's the way, historically speaking, we deal with asynchronous. This is JavaScript, by the way. Yeah, do something, then do something, then. That's ugly. That's horrible. Yeah. But anyway, that's the way, historically speaking, JavaScript has worked. And if you land on a project where developers are not very senior or where the code has been there for maybe a few years, you are likely, hopefully not to find such a horrible example, but you are likely to deal with that type of complexity. That's why it's important to at least have an idea about what the execution order is. Yeah? Once again, tomorrow we'll compare that with promises. So, yep. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yep.
Why does JavaScript doesn't read like the Angular code before the Baroque, like 27, while it's waiting for the delay from do stuff 1? So it starts with 20.
Yep.
And why does it not read then 27 and it jumps straight to 31?
Because it will run 27 only after that callback function, only after do stuff 1 is executed.
Oh, okay, so there's.
Yeah, it's inside, yeah, and do stuff 1 will take 1.5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
So while it's waiting 1.5 seconds to run 30,
Waiting what? Sorry?
so I think there's a set timer for 1.5 seconds for do stuff 1, right?
1.5 seconds to do stuff 1. Yeah, here you go. Yeah.
So the reason why it goes from 20 to 31 is because of 1.5 seconds.
Yes, yes, that's right. That's right.
So when the lapse is over,
Hmm?
then run 21.
That's correct. That's correct, Fish. Yeah, yeah. Once the lapse is over, after 1.5 seconds, it will run that bit. Yeah, but it will jump from here because that console log is outside. Can you see, guys? That's why indentation is so important. That console log is outside of this callback hell. That's why it jumps from here to there, and then after 1.5 seconds, then it starts dealing with this mess.
So in general, JavaScript will perform the tasks asynchronously, but when we specify the callback, it does it synchronously.
No, everything is asynchronous means that even though visually speaking, 21 should happen in theory before 31, because it's about, yeah? When you're reading a book, you read from top to bottom. So 21 is about 31 in reality, because that piece of code runs asynchronously in a different thread. That's not right, technically speaking, but in a parallel execution, in reality 31 happens before all this mess, even though it's displayed at the very bottom of the screen. It takes a while, guys, but once again, trust me, copy that snippet, add some breakpoints, and try to figure out the behavior. Thank you very much.